This GitHub project has 87,000 stars, and it claims to cut Claude Code's output tokens by 65% without touching a single line of your code. You install one command, and every answer your AI gives comes back shorter and cheaper, while your actual code stays byte for byte exact. And the best part? It's free, it's open source, and it installs in about 30 seconds. So we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it actually works, then install it, and prove these savings live. Let's jump in. The tool is called Caveman. And I know how that sounds, but stay with me because the idea behind it is genuinely clever. Right now, 87,000 people have starred this repo on GitHub. It's completely open source under the MIT license, and its whole pitch is one line. Why use many token when few token do trick? That's the joke, and it's also exactly what it does. Caveman makes your AI coding agent talk like a caveman. It shrinks the mouth, not the brain. Same answers, same code, same commands, just without all the padding your agent normally wraps around them. And here's the part that matters for you. It doesn't just work with Claude Code. It works with Codex, Gemini, Cursor, Windsurf, Klein, Copilot. Over 30 different agents, you install it once, and from that moment on, every reply is tighter. You save output tokens on every single message forever. So why should you care about output tokens at all? Here's the thing nobody tells you. Every time your AI answers, you pay for two things, what you send it and what it sends back. And your agent is a rambler. You ask it a simple question and it gives you 3 paragraphs of throat clearing. Great question. Let's break this down. First, it's important to understand you didn't need any of that. You needed the answer. All that filler is output tokens, and output tokens are the expensive ones. On most models, they cost several times more than the tokens you send in. So every rambling reply is quietly running up your bill and slowing you down. Caveman's bet is simple. Strip the filler, keep the substance. Keep every piece of code, every command, every error message exactly as it was, byte for byte, and just cut the words around them down to the bone. You still get the answer. You just stop paying for the speech that wraps it, and think about how this compounds. One rambling reply is a few cents, but you don't send one message a day. If you're building with Claude Code, you send hundreds. Every explanation, every code review, every why is this breaking, every back and forth. Trim the fat off every one of those, and it adds up fast, not just in money, but in speed, because a shorter answer is a faster answer. You spend less time scrolling past preamble to find the one line you actually needed. Now, how does it actually pull this off? This is the part I love because it's almost too simple. When you install Caveman, it doesn't run some heavy background process, and it doesn't touch your files. All it does is drop in one instruction file, a skill that tells your agent from message 1, answer like a caveman. That's it. From then on, your agent reads that instruction on every turn and just talks less. And you're not locked into one setting. Caveman ships with levels, light, full, ultra, and even a mode called Wenyan that compresses in classical Chinese for max density. So you dial in how terse you want it, light trims the fat, ultra goes full caveman. And while it's running, you get a little marker right in your status line, caveman, with a running count of how many tokens you've saved. You can pull up your stats anytime and see the total climbing. It's not a black box. It shows you live exactly what it's saving you. And because it's just an instruction file, there's no lock-in. You want it off for a session, turn it off. You want it only on your most expensive project, scope it there. It's the lightest possible thing that could work, which is exactly why it works across 30 different agents without any of them needing to build special support for it. It's not a plugin fighting with your setup. It's just a better instruction. Now, here's where I have to be straight with you because this is where most videos would lie. You might be thinking, can't I just tell my AI be concise and get the same thing for free? And that's a fair question. So let me show you the honest version. The people who built Caveman actually tested against exactly that. A plain answer concisely instruction, not against nothing. Because comparing it to an agent with no instruction at all would inflate the numbers and make it look better than it is. When you measure it the honest way, caveman versus just asking politely for short answers, it still cuts your output roughly in half, right around 50% fewer tokens on the tool's own benchmark, on top of a plain be concise. That's the real honest delta, what the skill adds on top of you simply asking for less. It's structured, it's consistent, and it hits on every single turn without you having to remember to ask. That's the difference between a one-time be brief and a tool that just makes brief the default forever. Okay, enough talk. Let's actually put it on my real setup and prove it. Installing it could not be simpler. You go to the Caveman repo, you copy one command, you paste it into Claude Code, and you hit enter. That's the whole thing. About 30 seconds later, it's live. No account, no API key, no config file to wrestle with, nothing sent to some server you don't control. It runs entirely local, no telemetry. You'll see that little caveman marker pop into your status line, and that's your signal. From this point on, your agent is a caveman. Notice I didn't walk you through a wall of flags and settings. You don't need to. You describe what you want in plain English, and the tool handles the rest. So now it's installed. Let me show you it actually working. Same question asked twice. First, normal, and watch how much it says. All of that is real, it's fine, but look at the length. Now, the exact same question with Caveman on, same answer, same correctness, a fraction of the words, and if I bump it from light up to ultra, watch it shrink even further. It's the same information, just squeezed tighter and tighter. Your code blocks stay perfect, your commands stay perfect. It's only the human chatter around them that disappears. Now let's measure it, because a claim without a number is just a vibe. I ran Caveman's own benchmark on my own account, the same real developer questions, once with a plain be concise instruction, and once with Caveman on top, counting the actual output tokens on every single answer. And here's the honest result. On the tool's own published benchmark, the output gets cut roughly in half. When I ran it myself on a faster model that was already pretty terse, it came in about a third smaller. And that range is the real answer. Somewhere between a third and a half of your output tokens, just gone. The exact number depends on how chatty your model is to begin with. So the 65% on the box, that's the best case. Measured honestly against a model that's already trying to be brief, you're looking at a third to a half. That's not the marketing number, and it's not a number I made up. It's from the tool's own benchmark, and you can run the exact same thing yourself. But I want to show you something else, because I promised you the honest version. I also tried Caveman's compress command on my own clode.md, my personal instructions file, the one my agent reads every session. Expecting it to shrink way down, it barely moved. 37,989 bytes down to 36,754. That's about 3%. 3. And you know what? That's exactly why I trust this tool. It refused to touch anything that mattered. Every rule, every file path, every number stayed perfectly intact because it's built to keep the substance byte for byte exact. Compressing your memory files is not where Caveman wins. Where it wins is on the output. Every reply, every session, forever. So if you see someone claim it slashes your whole bill in half, be a little skeptical. The honest win is real. It's just specifically on the words your agent speaks back to you. And I want to be fully square with you on the caveats because Caveman is honest about them and so will I be. This is output tokens only, the tokens you send in, and the tokens the model thinks in, those don't shrink. The skill itself adds a little bit to your input on every turn. The instruction has to live somewhere, and on work that's already terse, quick tool calls, one-line answers, it can actually come out net negative, costing you a hair more than it saves. So this isn't magic. It's a real measurable win on the kind of work where your agent normally rambles. Explanations, reviews, long back and forth, which if you're using Claude Code all day is most of it. And here's the twist that surprised me. Shorter isn't just cheaper, it can actually be better. There's real research showing that when you force a model to answer briefly, it often gets more accurate, not less, because it stops hedging, stops padding, and commits to the substance. Fewer words, more signal. So Caveman isn't asking you to trade quality for savings. A lot of the time, you're getting both. So let's put it all together so you know exactly when to reach for this. If you want your existing agent, Claude Code, Cursor, whatever you already use, to just stop rambling and save you output tokens on every reply, that's Caveman, the skill we just installed. There's also a bigger sibling called Caveman Code, a full terminal agent built on the same idea for when you want the whole thing running lean. And if your workload is already tight and tool heavy, honestly, plain old Be Concise might be all you need. But for the everyday, all-day explanation heavy way most of us actually use these tools, Caveman is a free 30-second install that quietly pays you back on every single message. That's the whole thing, one command, real savings, your code untouched. If you want to start a business using AI agents, come check out our community in the description down below. It's where we go deep on exactly this kind of stuff. And check out this video right here where I fixed Claude Code's memory problem with another free tool that pairs perfectly with this one. Click it on the screen right now.